Trying to reconnect. Let me see. All right. Peace, peace, peace. In the divine name of Supreme Being, I want to greet everyone with a civilized greeting in a very uncivilized time. Shalom, Otep, peace, assalamu alaikum, what's good, what's popping, whatever greeting that you go by. Some people say free to land, some people just say good morning, good afternoon, whatever school of thought you're from, whatever, wherever you at in your transition into consciousness, or in some cases out of peace, Miss Soleil, K. Ava. All right, I got you. Okay, yeah, that too. But anyway, we're going to be talking about this very, very critical subject. As soon as I get a chance to pull it up. Cell therapy. Are the telephone calls recorded and accessible to the U.S. government? All of the alphabet boys. Mainly we're going to talk about CIA. But there's an article that was sent to me via Facebook by Miss Tanya Johnson and brought it to my attention. And then when she read it to me, there's a few other people that kind of sent me the article. And I said, okay. And then I started seeing it on other people's websites, the websites that I kind of go to kind of see, to get a different kind of perspective as to what's going on before I start cross-referencing it. All right. I'm going to overlook the snake talk. Well, you know, sometimes the Kundalini energy tends to start from the root chakra and touches the crown chakra and makes its way through all of the different energy centers. And yeah. All right. So I did receive the message on Facebook. I really appreciate that. Shout out to Jay Wu, who's always on point. Shout out to all of those people that normally come on every weekend. I'm going to spend a few minutes kind of talking about Rick Mathis from Black Friday, the writer and director, producer of the film Black Friday, coming to the rescue the other day at Kalanji's event with Kaba Kwamene, formerly known as Booker T. Coleman. Shout out to that brother. Shout out to Kalanji and the rest of the brothers and sisters that showed up at the Royal Banquet Hall, which is right behind the Shrine of the Black Madonna in the ATL. So thank you very much. Really appreciate that. They let me know at the last minute, and my man Jahi, communicator Muhammad, made it happen. So I was there. Shout out to Chip, Aaron Allen. All right. Not Aaron, but Aaron Allen. My man B Son Martin signing in. So the phone line is definitely going to be open. Y'all just hit me up at 678-900-0912. Nope, don't hit me up now, but later. So yeah, so we're going to talk about the CIA and whether or not this idea of tapping phones and listening to conversations and that kind of stuff, not is it really true, but as someone said to me, I think it was Jahi Muhammad that said to me, he's surprised that people are surprised that this is actually happening. Lanisha signing in. I'm just surprised. Wendy Boggs is on. My man Ernie Grant is signing in. Richard Parsons. And as people come on, I'm going to spend a few minutes kind of just talking about the importance of education, and not only education, but the importance of the kind of education and information that we receive by us putting on and coming together at these lectures. Shout out to all of the people on the Google Hangout. A lot of times I tend to focus on the Facebook thing and forget y'all guys are over here, but peace to y'all. Paul Muhammad, Shirley Carter, Lamar Hall, And the reason why I shout people out is because a lot of times we tend to think and we tend to take this quote unquote little person for granted. But I'm thankful for everyone that comes on and gives me their energy so we can kind of piece apart this particular conversation we need to piece apart. So I want to talk about the CIA and the spy network and the government's use of technology, especially social media, especially cell phones, iPads, computers. All right. So as I begin to kind of pull up different information, Theodis Carey, James Hill, Harold Taylor. I'm fortunate to have Fortune on. Mr. or Mrs. Demetrius, salute back to you. All right. So let's dive into this. There was a Wikileaks article. It says from the switch. And this is the article that was sent to me by and read to me by Soleil. The CIA is using popular TV, smartphones, and cars to spy on their owners. Wow. It says Wikileaks says it has a trove of CIA hacking secrets. Washington Post National Secretary reporter Greg Miller, explains what these documents reveal. Dalton Bennett and Greg Miller from the Washington Post. All right, it says the revelations about the U.S. government's powerful hacking tools. Sometimes I kind of get ahead of myself when I'm reading, and my mind is already in the next paragraph. Potentially take surveillance right into the homes and hip pockets of billions of users worldwide, showing how a remarkable variety of everyday devices can be turned into spy on their owners, can be turned to spy on their owners. I'm not going to toot and tote the Steve Coakley line, but all of us that I know, that I'm comrades with on the front line, have been saying this for some time now, and it's not a secret. Steve Coakley has put this information out there for us to connect the dots. All right, to connect the dots, to let people know that they're spying on us. A lot has taken place since his transition into the ancestral realm, and I'm not sure if when he was around that we have this kind of technology connecting like a web, a grid, connecting smartphone with tablet, with be it Android or iPhone, high-tech cameras which are HD and 4K now connecting, and all of your devices being connected to one another, and all of them being tracked back to a facial recognition, an eye retina scan, a fingerprint that you now have to put on your device in order to open it. It's all tied back into one another and tied back into a bank account and a credit card, a driver's license, all tied back to an individual, making it a lot more easier to track you. All right. For those of y'all that think this is some wild, crazy conspiracy theory kind of spin to something, you might as well cut me off, block, delete me, scroll down your phone to the next person's show. This is not that kind of paranoid kind of thing that I'm about to dive into. All right. Someone is sending me a message. They hope I have crystals with all this technology around me. Yes, I do. Thank you very much. Too many to mention. Amethyst, black tourmaline, and other kind of crystals that surround me. Some hematite and some other crystals. And yeah, but those are too big. I should be wearing it around my neck. But if that's not sufficient enough, yeah. So we have to know and understand what the properties that crystals kind of have in them and what they do. This amethyst crystal is huge, and it was given to me as a gift by someone, and it absorbs all this radiation coming from cell phone, computer monitor, television screen, Android phone, tablet, computer, camera, and the phone that hopefully you will be calling me on. Too much. But how else am I going to do it? I gotta have the computer in order to do the Google Hangout. I'm on Facebook Live on that phone. This is my personal phone, which is an Android phone. It's a tablet in case I need to look up some notes. And so, yeah, you got to protect yourself. So I'm going to keep this right in front of me here. All right. So back to the article. Television, smartphones, and even antivirus software are all vulnerable to CIA hacking, according to the Wikileaks document released last Tuesday, pardon me. The capabilities described include recording sounds, images, the private text messages of users, even when they resort to encrypted apps to communicate. Okay, well, like I've done recently and have encouraged other people that I communicate with on a daily basis to do as well. There's other encrypted software apps that we use, and hopefully I can get around to telling you what a few of them are. While many of the attack technologies had been previously discussed, anti-cybersecurity conferences experts were startled to see evidence that the CIA had turned so many theoretical vulnerabilities into functioning attack tools against staples of modern life. All right, staples of modern life. So they've taken the average tool that we communicate with one another, they go into it now, manipulate it, and turn it into a device that they could use to not only manipulate your energy centers and your neurological functions. They're able to eavesdrop on conversations. They're able to go into the phone and send messages out, fake messages. They're able to go into the phone and look at your contacts and roam around in your phone without you even knowing. I've said this about the flat screen TVs. When they started changing and forcing everyone to go from, and I asked Jahi Muhammad, and we had a conversation about who invented this concept called the smartphone. But when they forced us to go from analog to digital, I think it was that period when the apps started being a lot more popular. Not only have the apps were a lot more popular to download in your phone, a lot of times when you're dropping certain apps in, you're dropping cookies in on computers and whatnot, and they're the ones that take over your phone. And they ask you, they need, in order for you to download this app, they need access to your camera, your pictures, your contacts, your whereabouts, your location, wherever. All right. So this is very real, and this is what's going on today. If you are on Google Hangout and you are coming on, please mute your microphones. All right. Okay. So we have to understand this particular technology is there, and the CIA is using it, and it's just now coming to our attention. Well, really yours, because most of us knew already that they were using this particular technology in order to spy on us. All right. It says, now when they start using terminology, like I've just read in the last paragraph, no one understands. They're not talking to the average reader. When you start talking about attack technologies, you're not talking about the average person that goes by a cell phone and they want to put up memes and send cute little messages to their girlfriend or boyfriend every day. They're not talking to you. It says when they previously discussed cybersecurity at cybersecurity conferences. Well, I don't know how many cybersecurity conferences you attend. All right. So be mindful that this conversation in this particular WikiLeaks article may not be talking to you. They said experts were startled. So if the experts were startled, can you imagine the average person? The average person that still plugged their phone up next to their bed at night, and it's just open for anyone to listen to what you're doing late at night. It says the functioning attack tools against staples of modern life. All right. So prove to me in this instance right here that they're talking to the average person. Give me a definition and put something here. Either type it in on Google Hangout or put it here on Facebook Live and tell me what's a staple of modern life. What's a staple of modern life? What is modern life? And what's a staple? Cable providers are also into this. They can track you through the equipment by MAC addresses, IP addresses. This is B Sun putting this up. So this is real. So the article goes on to say, in the case of a tool called Weeping Angel, somebody look up Weeping Angel, for attacking Samsung smartphones. WikiLeaks wrote, after an infestation, Weeping Angel places the target TV in a fake off mode so that the owner falsely believes that the TV is off when it is on. Wow. In fake off mode, the TV operates as a bug, recording conversations in the room and sending them over the internet to a covert CIA server. So Weeping Angel will get in there, and when you turn the phone or the TV off or the computer off, the computer is still on, and all the information that the computer is taking in, it's sending the information to a server, a CIA server. The CIA reported also has studied whether it could be an infect vehicle control system for cars and trucks. Wow. Which WikiLeaks alleged could be used to conduct nearly undetectable assassinations. So they're talking about assassinating people via your car, your phones, and your computers. Okay. And a specialized CIA unit called the Mobile Device Branch produced malware to control and steal information from iPhones, which, according to WikiLeaks, were a particular focus because of the smartphone's popularity among social and political, diplomatic, and business elites. The agency also targeted popular phones running Google's Android, the world leading mobile operating system. It says WikiLeaks said redacted lists a CIA surveillance targets, though it said they included target and machines in Latin America, Europe, and United States. The anti-secrecy group also said that by developing such intrusive technology, rather than helping tech companies patch flaws in their products, the CIA was undermining efforts to protect their cybersecurity of Americans. Which movie was that? What is the movie? A Jason Bourne movie. I think I saw this particular information in. You see, they'll put it right in front of you. Hopefully that you won't pick up on it. All right, because they'll put it in the movies. And we'll sit in a dark movie theater for 2 hours and we're taking this stuff in and we're kind of treating it as entertainment. But it's actually them testing how smart you are and whether you're up on this particular technology. So it goes on to say the argument that there is some terrorist using a Samsung TV somewhere as a reason not to disclose the vulnerability to the company when it puts thousands of Americans at risk. I fundamentally disagree with it, said Alex Rice, Chief Technology Officer for HackerOne, a startup company that enlists hackers to report security gaps to companies and organizations in exchange for cash. So these people hire and enlist hackers to come in and purposely go in to try to hack into certain companies and give that information to certain companies. The Trump White House is totally changing its tune on the wiretapping and hoping you don't notice. Recently, Donald Trump had accused Barack Obama and his administration for wiretapping Trump Towers to get information on Donald Trump, because Donald Trump was hounding Barack Obama about the birther situation, meaning his birth certificate situation. So like any president should do is wiretap not only Donald Trump, because he's a threat to national security. At that particular time he was, probably still is. Wiretap the entire building. Wiretap his underwear, his bedroom, his bathroom, his toaster, his goddamn wife's vibrator, whatever Barack Obama get his hands on. Tap it. Put a bug in it. All right? Plain and simple. So, so now, Trump knew about this technology. This is why Trump is nervous about this information getting out, because if his phones and his bedroom and his living room and his family's room and Trump Towers were bugged, then there's some vital information sitting out there that Trump don't want that information to get into the wrong hands. All right? All right, so the Trump White House is totally changing its tune on wiretapping. They're backing off the Barack Obama wiretapping the Trump Towers. All right, let's see why. The trove, meaning the information, that the trove of information that they have released Tuesday. This article is written in code, and it's kind of encrypted. The trove of information released Tuesday, all right, which the Washington Post could not independently verify, and the CIA has declined to confirm, include 8,761 documents. Be mindful now when they put out certain numbers like that, all right, that they may not be talking to the average person, but talking past your consciousness. 8,761. Can someone tell me what that adds up to real quick? Documents that were the first batch of a series of releases that WikiLeaks planned, it said. So if WikiLeaks is getting this, how is WikiLeaks getting this? Unless it's the inside person. All right. The first group at least shows important differences from the 2013 revelations that the National Security Agency former contractor Edward Snowden, his trove of documents largely Brian X. Williams, yes sir, James Hill, and Nikita Sunshine for you, peace, for signing in. His trove of documents largely described mass surveillance of internet-based communication systems, while the WikiLeaks releases more often described attacks on individuals. So it's probably coming from 2 to 3 different sources, and what they're doing is meeting on the side of the road in some dark place on the internet and comparing information. Billy D. Willis Williams said it equals 22. Let's keep that 22 in mind as we move further. All right. So by targeting devices, the CIA reportedly gains access to even well-encrypted communications on such popular apps as Signal. And this is the software that I asked other people to download that wanted to communicate with me, because it's a lot more secure than just Messenger or some of these other apps that we use to communicate with one another. So if you want to write Signal down, go download Signal, and it's supposed to be a lot more secure than just text messaging, regular normal software that they use on Facebook or any other place. All right, so I downloaded Signal and WhatsApp. All right, without having to crack an encryption itself. The WikiLeaks reports acknowledge that the difference between by saying the CIA had found ways to bypass and oppose to defeat encryption's technology. All right, coded language. There's a quote here. The idea that the CIA and NSA can hack into individual devices is kind of old news, said Johns Hopkins cryptography expert Matthew D. Green. Anyone who thought that they couldn't was living in a fantasy world. We've told y'all a long time ago. Somebody help me out with this. Do you remember the San Bernardino shooting with the quote unquote terrorists? And they said it was an argument between Apple and the CIA and the NSA and other government agencies that they wouldn't allow them, because they were protecting their customers, to go into the cell phones and giving them codes on how to get into the quote unquote terrorist cell phone. They pulled the wool right over your eyes. They've already had the technology. They was just BSing you because they want you to think that your private information is being protected by Apple or Google or one of these other cell phone communication companies. Your information is not protected. Your information is not protected, plain and simple. Because how did all of a sudden now the CIA and the FBI and the police department crack the code in order to get into this man's phone? And then once they got into the phone, how come they never shared that information with us to let us know that these were in fact terrorists? When the stories about the San Bernardino shooters, the early information that came out, it was 2 Caucasian males dressed in black coming in to shoot these people. All right. So, what is the website? The website is rents.com. Oh, I can't pull it to mind. Hopefully they'll mention it in this article. But yeah, like they said, this whole idea that the CIA and the NSA, they can't hack into your devices. If you didn't think that, if you think you've locked these people out of your phone, you're out of your damn mind. Plain and simple. You are actually carrying around listening devices for these people. All right. Why is it that police are physically beating up black women who are in wheelchairs and tasing them to get their cell phones? All right. On national TV. All right. For anyone to see. All right. You should start conducting yourself everywhere you go. I don't want you to be paranoid, but everywhere you go, including in your home, you should always be mindful that there might be a camera watching or somewhere that's watching what you're doing and what you're saying. All right. I had the pleasure of going to Phil Valentine's house, and he just put wool blankets and covers over his televisions and computers. All right. Delbert Blair told us to take the battery out of the cell phone, have it face down, do whatever, put it in the refrigerator. All right. Janelle, I know this is sad, but this is the world that we live in, and we gave them permission to do that. All right. And this is real. So somebody, it's already the 9:30 mark. I was about to say, someone let me know when the 9:30 mark hits. Snowden's revelations and the backlash made strong encryption a major, well-funded cause for both privacy advocates and perhaps more importantly, technology companies that had the engineering expertise and budgets to protect data. And it flowed across the world. They got the technology to protect us, but they're not going to protect them, the average citizen, from the same people that they claim supposed to protect them from terrorists. All right. Since it's the 9:30 hour, I wanted to do something kind of different. I wanted to ask a very critical question. I need y'all to be honest with me. What's in your cell phone? There's a commercial, a credit card commercial that's out that asks, what is in your wallet? Well, I just want to ask a very critical question, and I'm talking to everybody out there. Those of y'all that stay on your phones, that don't have respect enough that when you go to dinner to take your phone and turn it off or put it away in your pocketbook or your pocket or whatever. I would suggest you don't put it in your pocket, just keep it away from you. What's in your cell phone? So I decided to go into my cell phone and some of the stuff that I've downloaded so Griff can have a checkup from the neck up. All right. So I can have a checkup from the neck up live with y'all right here on Google Hangout at SiriusMindz Radio and TV, and right here on Facebook Live. So it's my private phone, the one that y'all are viewing me on Facebook Live. That's my iPhone, which 678-557 2919. That's that number. I have a private phone. So I'm going to go in it. If y'all want to call in, phone number 678-900-0912. And I want to shout out Booker T. Coleman, Kaba Kwame, for giving us this quote, which I'm going to leave us with. I'm not going to read it right now. Let me read it right now, and then let me read it again when we check out of here tonight. When someone tells a perfect lie, the truth is unbelievable. Think about that from all of the people that have lied to you, and how tight the lie was, how snug the lie was, how believable the lie was. The quote again is, when someone tells you a perfect lie, the truth is unbelievable. All right. All right. So let's go to my phone. Of course, I do what everyone does. You have to go two or three steps even to get into my phone. There's two codes to get into my phone. And I do have in my private phone an app that will take a picture of someone that's actually trying to get into my phone. So if someone picks up my phone and you try to fool around in it, it'll take a picture and send it to my other phone. So be mindful of that. All right, I'm going to go into the actual pictures. All right. In the phone. The things that I downloaded and saved, especially memes and that kind of thing. Because I wanted to know for this tonight, this question I'm asking everyone else. I said, well, let me just do a checkup from the neck up. All right. Hold on. Going to the gallery. Well, I do have one of those phones where if you let it sit for 2 or 3 minutes, I think 5 minutes, pictures will come up, which are my screensavers. All right. So I'm going to let that come up. I'm going to stop it there, and I'll show the rest of y'all. All right. So the rest of the article, it talks about encryption. It talks about encrypting apps for private messaging, such as Signal, Telegram, and WhatsApp, exploded in popularity, especially among users around the world who were fearful of the government's intrusion into your privacy as far as the cell phones were concerned. All right. So companies now were putting out special kind of private messaging apps. All right. And most of them you got to be mindful of, because who's on the other end of those? All right. I'm not saying these things for you to be paranoid. All right. I talked to a gentleman the other day that sent me some information via email, and I'm having a conversation with him, and just all out of the blue, he was like, "Man, I'm not on the radio. I'm not on your radio show, am I?" I'm like, "Bro, it's 11 in the morning. I'm in the car." Just paranoid. I don't want you to walk around. Martin said that's why the BlackBerry fell off, due to messenger privacy. Oh, okay. All right. Well, they got rid of that BlackBerry for some strange reason. I do have to admit, like Barack Obama admitted, that the BlackBerry was probably the best cell phone I owned, for real. Brother Patah Amun said, I'm working on encrypting a government agency's files using BitLocker. Okay, Hadia just signed in with us. I'm waiting for my screensaver to come up on my phone so I can show you some of the things that are in my cell phone. All right. But while we're waiting on mine, I need y'all to go into some of your phones. If you're not on your phone on Facebook Live, some of y'all that are on Google Hangout, if y'all could go in and go into some of the memes that's in your phones, and just read me some of the things that's in yours, because let's be mindful of what we're putting in our phones, simply because sometimes we just kind of go into the phone, we save it, we read it, we save it to go back and send it out a little bit later on, and we kind of never kind of get around to it. All right. Let me go into my album. Hold on. I'm gonna go into the album on the phone gallery, pictures, more. Hold per second. Albums. Screensavers, no. I have 597 downloads into this phone. All right. I'm not going to show you the personal stuff. Hold on. I want to get to some of the memes. Of course, it's stuff like this, tarot cards, dealing with strength. Once again, another one dealing with strength. Of course, flyers from events of past. Of course, I got personal pictures of places that I go, people that I meet, that kind of thing. Random stuff that I put in here. Myself with personal friends of mine around the country. But I wonder how can they take this kind of information and kind of use it against me. All right. So once again, if they have access to the phone, then they know exactly who I'm communicating with and where I'm communicating with these particular individuals. And of course, you know, some of us like me, I laugh every single day. Laughter is good for the soul. So of course I download funny stuff. I'm going to read this one to y'all, but some of y'all have downloaded this one already with Kevin Hart. It says, you know what I'm going to do to you? He says, you know what I'm going to do? He said, and the little dude says, what, grow? He says, what you going to do, stretch? So this is Kevin Hart. So we download things like that, but we don't know that they use these kind of things to know what makes us laugh. When Malcolm X was blazing the trail, did y'all know that they put voice stress analysts in the audience to measure what he says and the strain of his voice to see how you would react to what Malcolm X was saying? Be people to watch his body language. Shout out to Sean DeVore. DeVore. We call him Stutter Man. Sonny signing on. But like I said, different lectures that I've done, images that I want to put in the in my lecture. So I might look at it, hit the save the photo button, stuff that people send me about myself. So all of these kind of things, of course, me and some elders, all of this information they use against us. All right. This one, I'm just randomly going through it. I downloaded something that Tariq Nasheed put up. He said, so Prince gets his entire catalog back from Warner Brothers, and now he suddenly dies. Notice a pattern here with black artists. You understand what I'm saying? So now they can take that and said, okay, Professor Griff is downloading and following Tariq Nasheed on Facebook or Twitter. So now they're connecting me and him. All right. Then they'll connect some of y'all that are following both of us and make the connection. All right. I downloaded information when Africa Bambaataa was on the front page of the Daily News when it says hip hop legend accused of teen sex abuse. When he was on the cover of the Daily News with Hillary Clinton. All right. Let me see. You know, of course, a lot of times they want to get us in these positions, these unguarded positions. So a lot of times when you send funny stuff to one another, you're not thinking these people are behind these encrypted software all in the back and up in your cell phone and your computer, watching who you send what to whom and how much of what you send to whom. Watching what songs you download. Watching who you're following. What pertinent information that you're following. And if you are sending valuable information, like I said, if you think because you famous on Facebook, like you rich in monopoly money, you're fooling yourself. You understand what I'm saying? Once again, Kaba Kwabene said, when someone tells a perfect lie, the truth is unbelievable. All right. So, but this power couple right here, who is giving us instructions on how to save money instead of buying expensive cars, houses, and spend $50,000, $80,000, $25,000 on a wedding. Save that money. Hell, spend $2,000 on a wedding. Take the other 23 out of the 25K that you spend into 25 stacks and put it down on the house. All right, Richard Smart, this power couple put this information out, but I'm sure they connected me and the power couple, and now they're following both of us. Silly stuff with friends of mine from around the country. So now I'm sure they're connecting my friends around the country. All right, even when I put up silly stuff of my little cousin doing, what she does as far as rapping and MCing and writing songs and that kind of thing. They're have connected me and her. So it's just a wealth and a wealth of treasure trove of information right there in your cell phone that they can read about you because you're putting it in your cell phone for them to read. I'm not saying not to do it, but I'm just saying this stuff is just in my cell phone. I never knew how strong I was until I had to forgive someone who wasn't sorry and accept an apology. And accept an apology I never received. It's that kind of stuff. Now, whoever vibes with that, all right, they may use to connect us. Here's another one. You may shoot me with your words. You may cut me with your eyes. You may kill me with your hatefulness, but still, like air, I rise. Maya Angelou. Now, that may be innocent. That's just a part of a poem I downloaded from Maya Angelou because it resonated with me on that particular day. But how many other people did it resonate with, right? And how many other people did I share it with that connected us now? So now we have one network. And they even use the language on Facebook, your network of people. All right. So now when they institute martial law, they can go right to Facebook and see who Griff is connected with and round up all of y'all. All right. This one says, I cannot solve our problems with the same level of thinking that created them. This just is an innocent meme I've downloaded into my private phone that I might have shared this with the 20 or 30 people that I have in my phone that even have this particular number. God forbid if you have one of my other numbers. It's like I'm sending out mass amount of stuff. All right. But hold on one second. Of course, this phone goes blank and locks back up after 3 minutes. You set your phone down, someone coming behind you, pick it up, get all your information. This one says, if a person wants to be a part of your life, they will make an obvious effort to do so. Think twice before reserving a space in your heart for people who do not make an effort to stay there. Basic stuff. Better to be strong than pretty and useless. Yeah. Now, this can get kind of personal because I'm just going to flash this. I'm not going to freeze this. This is personal banking information that I put in my phone. And normally I put it in such a way where, only I know. But still in all, they have these cats sitting around. This is all they do is figure this kind of information out. PIN numbers and that kind of thing. All right. Now, this is me. And I'm not tooting my own horn, stepping on no pedestal, and I'm sure the brothers don't mind. This is a picture of me in New Edition. Me, Bobby Brown, Ricky, Ralph, Mike. You understand what I'm saying? So they may now connect me with New Edition. All right. So we have to be mindful of that and how these people are using this information. All right. They can go back so far as a picture like this is me at a Kung Fu tournament, and I won grand champion back in the day. You understand what I'm saying? So now they may go back so far as to see who even liked this picture when I put it up on Facebook and begin now to connect the dots. Don't believe Facebook when they start talking about you only allowed 5,000 people in your network. And then they allow you to set up a friend page, a like page, and about 5 other pages. Now that's 20,000 damn people already. along connected to your YouTube channel, that's thousands of more. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm just giving you all a glimpse as to some of the things that are in my private phone, and some of the connections that I've made with information that I'm sharing with other conscious people. All right. And this is, this is very real. This stuff is actually in my cell phone. I'm talking about, ideas that I've had, lyrics from songs, not account numbers, but passwords to how to get into my website, and businesses I'm starting, that kind of thing, just all up in the space. Yeah. So we're talking about the CIA's ability and the NSA. And just for y'all that are confused, the NSA is the National Security Agency, which already told you that they're using facial recognition software, where they already told you they're using fingerprint ID. One of these phones, I got to use my fingerprint to get in as an extra layer of security. And this is how they present it. Then they want your phone number as another layer of security. How many goddamn layers you need, and from whom? From them. From the same people that's selling you the phone, or the same people that's in bed with the NSA and the CIA and the rest of the alphabet boys. All right. So I don't want you to forever. I don't want you to think that you're protected now or later. All right. If you're giving these people access, you're telling them on the app that you downloaded, yes, I'm giving you permission to have access to my contacts and my pictures. Well, what do you think they're doing? And who do you think they're selling this information to? All right. We have to be mindful of this. All right. This is a high def camera that I'm using. All right. Logitech. I don't know the model number, but it's a Logitech camera that I'm using. I'm on Facebook Live and Google Hangout. You think these people don't know who is on this broadcast with me today? The 100 or so people that's on Facebook Live, and the 100 or so, the 200 people that are on Facebook Live, and the 100 or so people that are here on Google Hangout. All right. So even if you have Signal, even if you have WhatsApp, even if you have some of the other Telegram apps that are more sophisticated than Messenger and the other ones, your information is still open to these people. Trust me, if you committed a crime right now and they needed to find you because you were on the run, first place they would go, like they did me with the Dallas shooter. The first place they went to him is his cell phone and his Facebook page. And that's how they ended up with a picture of him and Professor Griff at a lecture. Why do you think they came up with the concept that Kenneth Muhammad is telling us now? Smart TV, smartphone. All right. What was so dumb about the user that they came up with the concept of a smartphone? All right. This particular dynamic it's not new. Like I said early on, I'm just surprised that you're surprised. Here's another one I downloaded into my phone. When she gave you the fake phone number at the club that night, and you thought you'd never see her again. It may be funny to some of us, but it's vital information to them. I screenshotted some threats that someone was threatening me with. I saved the threats and saved it into my phone. And see, that's juicy information for these people that want access to your phone. Another thing we need to be aware of, not that I'm running down the list of things, but I got a check the other day, and my business partner she says, well, if you can't find the bank, just put the check out, don't download the bank app, take a picture of the check, put the amount, blah, 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 send it to the bank, write on it, and file the check away. When we do our taxes for the company, she said, just give me the information. I was like, wow. So I use my cell phone to take a picture of a check, and I send it to the bank. And you don't think these people now have access to my account? Chris Muhammad said, beware of malware and ransomware. Brother Patar, who's on it, he says the new caching app. I guess that's why the chick said cash me outside. This cash app is very convenient. I gotta admit it because I downloaded it. And I've been getting hit up by my daughter every other week for money, but I'm just saying it's convenient. You press a couple of buttons, that cash app is directly have access to your bank account. So you talking about if someone committed a crime, you talk about shutting down their funds. You could only take $400 to $500 out the ATM machine as it is. They will shut and lock you out of your own money, lock you out of your own cell phone, shut your credit cards down, and track you via that chip that you have on your credit card that's in your wallet. Plain and simple. All of us are carrying a chip around. All of us are carrying a tracking device around. All right? So if you think you're beyond this particular kind of spy network that they have set up, stop that. Some of y'all got voice recognition software, facial recognition software as an extra layer of security. All right? That's not, that's not protecting you. All right? I'm rolling across vital information that I'm having just on my phone, and I just thought, yeah, this is really critical, man. I got some critical information. A couple of people's credit card information. I got old receipts. I got friends that y'all know and don't know that I'm related to, and some friends that y'all do know. They have access, man. Sometimes when I'm being extra security minded, I'll take a picture of a receipt. So now they get to read that and know what my whereabouts. Now at the cash register, they ask you, do you want your receipt printed, emailed, or both? Now, what's that about? How can they use that information down the line? All right. They're connecting now an email. So when they connect an email to you, now they can connected a treasure trove of information now that you had to fill out in order to get an email address. All right. So I know some people that don't even operate with social media, by using social media. Nowadays, they're making you get a credit card. On airplanes, you can't even use cash. You start pulling out a wad of money like some of these fake mumble rappers be doing, showing off. They don't even want the money. You got to have a credit card. And that's just real. Checking in and out of hotels, renting cars. They want to track you wherever you're going. So he rented a car at DWI airport. He flew in, rented a car. He drove to another part of Texas, did whatever. You understand what I'm saying? They're able to track you through your credit card, your cell phone, and they know your whereabouts and who you connected with. All right, you watch the ID channel. Don't act like you don't. Some of y'all go on binges watching the first 48. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Just to get Tay-Tay and Man in the back room to have them start crying and telling on every damn body. For real. We've already been leaving Muhammad Tariq. We've already been leaving a treasure trove of information via a paper trail. But now it is ridiculous, man, how much access they have, all right, to us, and how much access we give them, all right, by just consenting to it, hitting OK on the app. And now you have let these people into your cell phone and they all up in your private space. All right. And this is real. So this WikiLeaks article, going back now to the article that Soleil sent me, the WikiLeaks articles, the CIA is using popular TVs, smartphones, and cars to spy on their owners. I've already told you that the flat screen TVs that came out were liquid crystal display LCD panels and televisions. LCD stands for liquid crystal display. We already talked about that in my book and in my lectures. I talked about the plasma TVs with connected with your melanin. This is why some of us go on these television binges. We can't even go to sleep at night. All right. And, the melanin needs to get the melatonin needs to get activated but you got a light on, which is your television and your computer and your cell phone in the room at night. So you can't even really get real rest. Some of you are still eating microwave food. Now you glowing at night. Just like your cell phone be glowing in your face. That's how some of y'all walk around with so much radiation, glowing. I need some of y'all, while the few minutes we have left, let me see. I had a document I wanted y'all to write down. Please let me get to this in time enough. I talked about this in my lecture. I talked about in my lecture at the it's not there. Let me see. Let me go here. What was I talking about that day? It's probably in this lecture. And let me see if I can get to it real quick. Nope. I think it's right here. And yes, it is. All right. So if you're watching on Google Hangout and on Facebook Live, I need y'all to write this down. I need you to go to Google and I need you to type in US 6506148. Once again, these numbers are, go to Google search engine. Somebody put this on Facebook for me. The number is US 6506148. US 6506148. I need y'all to Google that number, that patent number, US 6506148, and tell me what y'all come up with before we get off the air. All right, go to Google and Google US 6506148. US 6506148. Correct. Tell me what you come up with. You got to put it in Google. All right. One more time. The number is US 6506148. Tell me what y'all come up with real quick before we get off the air. I'm going to stay on the air as long as we have to deal with this. So tell me what y'all come up with. All right. Are y'all there on Google Hangout? Tell me what y'all come up with. US 6506148. All right. I put it. Aziel Ben Bay says a computer screen, a cell phone screen is called the GUI, which means ghost. Wow. Thank you for that information, good brother. Someone said the nervous system manipulation, Griff. Amos Lawson said the nervous system. Call me, Griff. Come on, man. I'm on the air. How the hell am I going to call you, dude? I'm doing a radio show. Patah, who's on it always, US 6506148, is the nervous system manipulation by electronic means, electromagnetic means. So they're manipulating your nervous system via the screen, via your cell phone, controlling and manipulating how you feel about a meme or a text message or someone hanging up on you. All right. So we have to understand how they're manipulating us. Now, I just gave y'all some codes and some patent number to put in on Google, and Google is telling you, and you still don't believe it. All right. Shout out to Reefa Harrison, Riri. Shaq Gomes, call me a little bit later on, 1 o'clock tonight. All right, because I got to do this thing with Brother Rich tonight. And we're going to be talking about a higher form of killing, dealing with racism. All right. It's been very interesting. Chris Muhammad said the psychological effects have been observed in a human subject in response to stimulation of the skin and weak electromagnetic fields that are pulsed with certain frequencies near a half hertz. I'm talking about skin deep, man. All right. We're talking skin deep. So they're able to affect your senses, skin deep. And we need to understand that. All right. It is now the 10 o'clock hour. All right. The knowledge cipher. All right. That brings me to a close on SiriusMindz RnTv. I want to thank y'all very much for coming on. Let me just read to y'all where I'm going to be before I get off the air. I will be in Killeen, Texas this Saturday and Sunday. All right. I will be in Austin, Texas this Friday. Let me see if I can pull up the flyer real quick so I can let y'all know exactly where I'm going to be before I get off the air. It's not hard to tell. You could just go to my Facebook page to get information. But the Black World Bookstore in Killeen, Texas. All right, let me give you that information. All right, at Black World Books, 500 North Fort Hood Street, Suite 504, Killeen, Texas, 76541. The phone number to call her right now, 254-554-5559. That's Killeen, Texas, March 18th at 7 o'clock, which is Saturday, and March 19th, which is Sunday at 3 o'clock. All right, I'll be dealing with my book, Symbology Hidden in Plain Sight, and I'm going to dive right into it. That's in Killeen, Texas. I'm also going to be in Indianapolis, Indiana. All right, Saturday, April 1st, all right, at Bethel Community Center, 3276 Winthrop Avenue, Indianapolis, Indiana, on the 1st of April. And then on the 2nd, I'm going to be at the Creations Loft, 6800 East 30th Street, Suite 777, Indianapolis, Indiana. Phone number to call is 317-447-5896. This is your brother, your friend, your homie, your partner, your comrade. All right, that revolutionary soldier. All right, we hopefully with like minds, like mine. I love y'all to life, but I gotta check out of here. All right, revolution is not an event; it's a process. Love y'all to life. I'll see y'all next week. Peace, Soleil. Peace, y'all. I'm out. It's Professor Griff. All right, and I'm out. Once again, Kaba Kwabene says, when someone tells you a perfect lie, the truth is unbelievable. This is Professor Griff, and I'm signing out. Peace.